drift, if you see, originally they were about, all the parts are about that shade of red. That does have a kind of a top coat of clear glossy red on it, just to make it pop. But I tried to go for a dark purple, and the amount of time you need to stay in the ink or in the dye just completely annihilated the plastic. When something's good, you should just leave it. I mean, don't try to chase perfection. Another one of these swords that will not stay. This was also dyed red. But you can see, if you get just to the fine layers of plastic, it'll scrape right off. But nice and straight. And then it's also got a G.I. Joe Grenadier gun and ammo pack kind of glued on. And then took the airbrush and tipped all the bullets red. Although it may not transform anymore, it is one of my favorites. Just because the whole junker look is pretty sweet. And then there's the dyed Optimus Prime. See, I wanted all the parts about this shade of purple. But after my drift fiasco, and some of the parts are this color, front grille isn't quite right, I decided to stop. The gun came out well. It accepted the dye. It seems like different plastics also accept it at lower temperatures. So you gotta kind of play with that. But as far as holding up well, I think the dye is the best way to go. I mean, there's nothing to scrape off. Paint issue, paint rub isn't a problem. And I'll transform and be back. Well, somehow this attaches to this, but I am missing parts, so. Doop doop. And these old ones don't want to fit together really well anymore. And he's missing parts. A lot of my early Transformer customs are just stuff I found at Value Village. This guy. So they're missing parts and they're broken down. This is one of the twins, the ones that pissed off so many people because they represented black people. Bunch of battle damage. Tried to do some dry brushing, but it kind of just made them look crappy. Another one of the Grenadier guns and ammo packs. I just think those are sweet looking kits, so they got incorporated a bunch of places. Doesn't transform anymore. Had to gut a lot of the parts for the roof and didn't really want to take the time magnetizing it just because I like to display them like this. And a lot of this stuff is cheaply glued on there. I think the gimmick still works, yeah. There is his twin somewhere around here. It's not finished, but maybe one day we'll put it together. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the Soundwave. We can just get him out of here. I tried to go gold with a lot of the purple, but this plastic is just so rubbery that everything scraped off really easily. And it was kind of shitty. I mean, still works. He does transform, but I mean, there's plenty of people transforming this guy. There's nothing special about it. I'm not even going to waste the time. This is kind of just, I got bored one weekend and wanted to put a nice paint job. Well, nice, I guess is relative, but. And then it sat on a shelf forever. It just got dusty. Yo. My 3 Gundams. I have more, but these are the only 3 that I've painted and really care about. And then this is kind of just using the airbrush. Do like a purple, dark red kind of thing, lighter red, up to a yellow and a bit of orange in there. No battle damage, just some pre-shading on some of the parts to make it pop a little more. You can faintly see it here on the shoulder pads and on the shield. Battle damaged Gundam. Focus. More pre-shading. That's how you get the nice shadowing on all the armor pieces. And then dry brushing. The metal scraping. But if you have too much paint on your dry brush, it does not look very good. And then your paint scrapes as well. Not a very good battle damage. Too much silver. Need to go over it and tone it down a bit. But they're fun projects, and you can get these things for about $10. So I mean, scale. This was a blister from gardening, so I don't have stigmata or anything. It's also the lighting in this makes it pop a lot more than it really is. I don't know, maybe my exposure's too wrong. In person, it's a lot darker. It's more of a dark maroon than this guy. I had a old crappy Gundam kit. Took the head and kind of stuck it on a pike, and then used some 2-part epoxy putty and did a axe. And then this right here is just a kebab stick. So it's like the little plastic sticks you get in packs. There's some of the wood showing through because it scrapes. But what are you gonna do? And then this is a goof. Kind of took more 2-part epoxy and made a little skull to put on the top of it. Sword. Did a little edging. Not very good, in my opinion, but who am I trying to impress? A lot of battle damage. Too much in some parts, and it just gets kind of overwhelming. But live and learn. That paint's showing through. That's his whole color underneath. That's the color of all the plastic. And then I went black and gold. This all comes off, but kind of pain in the butt. The glue makes everything, or the paint makes everything really sticky. So it really just sits on a shelf and looks awesome. Then we got Warhammer. I don't play Warhammer. I was trying to for a while, but I kind of live in a small town. There's like 3 people who play, and I just never really felt like getting involved. I like painting the miniatures. They're expensive as hell. But you can find a lot of them on eBay where the paint jobs suck, but throw them in a 50% solution of alcohol and water, and the paint will come right off with a toothbrush. Then you can do your own paint job. You can get them for about half the price. Never really finished his face. I have a bit of ADD and kind of get distracted on stuff. Stuck this one on a helicopter pedestal or something that came with some orcs. I kind of display these ones with him coming in over the top, shooting the orc. Besides the eyes, I should go back and fix these eyes because this one's actually my favorite. Fix the eyes, paint this tassel here, do a little bit more detail work. But the blood splatter came out nice. Put red paint on a toothbrush and then flicked it on there. And I like it. Did some of the washing. Citadel paints are just kind of expensive, and I don't know if they're really worth it. Games Workshop's kind of money hungry in my opinion. If anything, they would try to include more fans to expand their player base and generate more revenue that way, rather than keeping prices so high. I mean, people want to play the game. It's just, how is a kid going to ask his mom for hundreds of dollars to really get into it? I don't know. They're cool though.